So yeah, so for the 1202, the QSBS, the holding period is the key. You need to hold this for at least 5 years in order to qualify for the exclusion, and that's an all or nothing. It's not like 4 years you get 80%. So when it comes to the holding period, if you got in at original issue and you received stock, it's pretty basic. It's just you start when you purchase or when you received it. If you had an option, whether it's a RSU, which is a restricted stock unit, which you receive over time, typically based on a vesting schedule, your holding period starts on the date of vesting. If you had an ISO, it'll be on the date of exercise. And I had a client recently. It was kind of an interesting case because he had received stock through RSUs, which is very common, but he had actually dipped back into the time period before it was 100% excludable. So the 100% exclusion didn't begin until September of 2010. Prior to that, there was a 75% and then there was a 50%. And so what we needed to determine was when he was receiving 50%, when he received 75%, and when he received 100%. And it was, very important that he was in at original issue, or he would have just been 100% taxed on the entire gain. So when it comes to holding period, it will sometimes be completely straightforward. If you acquired the stock at original issue or you received the stock at original issue, the holding period starts the date that you received it. If you have an option or a convertible note, it will be dependent on a few things. So convertible note, holding period starts upon conversion when you have actual equity. If you have an option, it will depend on what type of option. So if you have an ISO, it will be at time of exercise. You exercise your ISO, your holding period starts. If you have an RSU, typically these are on a vesting schedule. So unless you make an 83B election, whereby you're taxed immediately. So if you make an 83B election, the holding period starts at the time of the election. If you don't make the election, the holding period starts at the time of vesting.